While manga becoming more popular has been overall amazing for the manga community at large, if there is one bad thing, it's that scalpers have been having a field day. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is ThePromG. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, today, we're going to be talking about something extremely controversial and honestly pretty sad that has happened to the manga community over the past few years, and that is the unfortunate downfall of half-price books, which was at one point one of the best places to go for and hunt for used manga. You could find some absolutely amazing deals. It's actually the first place that I actually went to buy manga that really got me into this hobby. Back when I was working part-time at the local grocery store, I would go over at the end of my shift to the half-price books a few buildings down. I just browsed this wide selection of manga for amazing prices, but unfortunately it seems that half-price books has begun to take the scalper route by marking up the prices of their books just way up to match this usual scalper price they see on places like eBay and Amazon. So in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about the problem at hand, some examples of this absolutely ridiculous scalping by half-price books, and also the actual reason that these prices are being marked up so high above the original half price nowadays for manga, according to an ex-employee of half price books. So very interesting stuff, and I cannot wait to start getting into this video because it's a very interesting topic that's basically affected everybody in the manga community, mainly for worse. So if you guys do enjoy this video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more manga videos just like this. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, so first things first, I just want to make a little bit of a note about scalping because it's a word that gets thrown about a lot in the current manga landscape, and I feel like it often loses its meaning or it doesn't really align with my definition of the word. So when I think of scalping, I think of, pricing up an item that should be readily available for a malicious intent. Example of this would be like PS5s, which should be readily available, but people are buying them all up and reselling them to make own personal gain. Another example would be like toilet paper and Clorox wipes, which we saw at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. I mean again, something that should obviously be readily available, but because of the shortage, people are buying them up, reselling them for their own personal gain. Obviously some malicious intent in those scenarios. However, I feel that out of print manga that is genuinely scarce and desirable, when those prices are marked up higher than retail, or they're more expensive than we'd be willing to pay, or at least most of us, that isn't really scalping because that is a genuinely desirable and hard to find item. So of course it's going to be accompanied by a higher price, which brings us back to the topic at hand, of course being our favorite manga store, half-price books. We're not only guilty of just out-of-print pricing, but also out-of-stock scalping, which you're going to get into with some examples today in this video. Let's just take a look at a few examples that I was able to find on the manga collector subreddit of people taking pictures at their local half-price books of these absolutely outrageous manga prices. Keep in mind, the name of the store, half-price books, when looking at these prices. Here we can see some One Punch Man volumes going for $15 and $20, being, obviously $10 at the max like you get at Barnes & Noble. Just insane because they're out of stock. They're priced up by half-price books. Here's a picture somebody took at their store behind the glass protective case of a full set of Trigun Maximum in the omnibuses. These are out-of-print books. They are very expensive, and you may find these prices similar to the asking or sold prices on places like eBay or Amazon, but still, for half-price books, paying like $150 for one singular book is just absurd. And this one right here probably gets me the most mad out of any of these examples. This Goodnight Punpun set that is marked for individual volumes like over $50 to like $100. And these are just out of stock. Of course, Goodnight Punpun is coming back in stock, but here at this half-price book, they're just marked at astronomically high prices for this series, oftentimes marked as out of print on the little sticker and pen. Just absolutely ridiculous. And there are just so many more examples that I have, and I'm sure you guys have also run into in the wild. I know at my personal store, there was like some Gunsmith Cats omnibuses that were marked over $50, which, again, could be a valid price online, but just not for half-price books. Also, another example I talked about in a previous video was like this volume 1 of Neon Genesis Evangelion Campus Apocalypse, a really trash series nobody cares about, but it was marked for like $30 just because one person on Amazon marked it as that, but it's worth like $5. And honestly, I think that half-price books marking up their manga prices low-key might be one of the worst and most devastating things to ever happen to me in my manga collecting journey and to the manga collecting community as a whole, just because if you guys ever shopped at half-price books or at used stores who may have a similar thing going on now, these stores, and especially half-price books, were just havens for finding manga deals. One of my favorite parts about manga collecting is going out hunting for these deals, and when you find something that's pretty rare that you've been looking for a very cheap price, it's just a feeling like no other. But all those opportunities have basically just been ripped away from us as manga consumers, which is very disappointing because, again, that's one of my favorite parts about this hobby in general, is going out and looking for these steals and deals out in the wild. And yeah, now you basically cannot do that anymore in today's current landscape. I remember, I think it was a couple days ago, East Coast Manga posted a picture on Twitter of like a massive used haul he got. It just made me really sad because I used to get hauls like that all the time when I started off my YouTube channel. I'm sure some of you guys remember those crazy manga haul videos, but now it's just impossible to get anything near that quality or size for a good price. So yeah, with that being said, this issue of half price books marking up the prices to the level of scalper prices really does hit me personally, because this is one of the big things that got me into this whole collecting hobby that I love so much now. And yeah, it's very sad to see it go for the moment. Now, I did say for the moment, and that is because there is indeed hope on the horizon. If you look far enough, there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, according to this one former Half Price Books employee. A couple of weeks ago, a user posted on the Manga Collectors subreddit claiming that they're a former Half Price Books employee and that they have the lowdown on the actual pricing system that Half Price Books has transitioned over to in this time period where prices have just been matching scalper prices and this whole debacle has been going on. Half Price Books, or more affectionately named Price Gouge Books, has been on many people's radar for some time. This is due to Half Price Books relying on their pricing software SIPS, which uses Amazon sellers, aka scalpers, to price used manga and other items way above the value coming into the store. Half Price bookstores have slowly been replacing SIPS for a new pricing software and methodology as of January 2022 to counteract this problem and have more consistency throughout the chain. Because I'm no longer employed with the company, I'm not privileged to know that many details regarding the new pricing system. What I do know is that they will rely less on auto pricing based on Amazon eBay sales and more consistent store pricing and ABES if it's out of print. This will be an incredibly slow change that will also involve retraining of employees, so be patient in the meantime. If you see something in print that's clearly a pricing abuse, then say something to a shift leader. Explain that it's overpriced and not out of print, and if you're polite, they'll usually look into it. Lastly, don't pay over cover price for in-print manga. The less sales and activity on Amazon, the better for SIPS to calculate prices. Honestly, when I saw this post for the very first time, it filled me with a little bit of a bittersweet joy emotion, because if you pay attention, part of it says, you know, we're working on it. We're trying to get better and fix the system that's being used to replace it with a new one that more matches Amazon and eBay sold listings, which is more accurate. But the post also mentioned that this is going to be a long process to reverse. Obviously, a company like Half Price Books can't just switch their pricing software just like that on a dime because the consumers aren't happy. You know, these things definitely take time. Also taking into account the training that's going to accompany, you know, the employees that are using this software. You know, it's not going to be a quick 180 to fix this whole situation so us manga collectors can go back to finding crazy deals at Half Price Books. You know, this could be very well, you know, a few years to like 5 or more years to get this whole thing turned around, especially because when companies invest in a new software, they are not usually willing to just abandon it right away, because that kind of thing is very, very expensive. One thing I would be very interested to find out is if any of you guys know anybody, or you have yourself ever bought anything from Half Price Books that was at this scalper price. Like if you saw a Goodnight Pun Pun volume for $40, but you were willing to spend that money just because it was out of stock or scarce or whatever. Have you guys ever bought something like that and fed into this thing that's going on with Half Price Books? Obviously, it's your money. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm not going to judge you, but it would be interesting to see, you know, has this strategy with marking up manga prices to a scalper level, has it actually paid off at all for Half Price Books as far as profits and sales go? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate in this video just because I have no insight to it whatsoever, but I would be curious to hear any personal testimonies or to see any stats for that specific measure. So we end off today's video a little bit bittersweet, but with some hope on the horizon. Obviously, we are in the middle of something very disappointing that's happening to our Half Price Books and used stores across the country. It's very sad to see that we can no longer really get these manga deals that really got me into the hobby, and I'm sure a lot of you guys really enjoyed going and hunting for rare or just manga that you wanted that was maybe out of stock, you know, and we can't really do that anymore. But it does appear that there is hope in the future for this to be changed and us to go back to the golden era of manga hunting. Obviously, I'm not going to get my hopes up too high for this change to come in the very near future, and I advise you guys not to as well, because it could take years upon years, but it's definitely something to look forward to. And yeah, I'm honestly pretty excited for that day to come around again. That's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more manga videos just like this. So yeah, this has been ThePromG. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and as always, hope to catch you in the next one.